Come on. Gonna get this right. Can you hear me?
Yo, Mike, can you hear me?
Figure out crap right now. There we go.
Attaboy.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Come on. Boom. How's that? Can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
You can't hear
Let me
me?
make sure it's my thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, I can't hear you yet. Let me make sure all my speakers and mic are connected up. So must be my mic is good.
You can't hear me, huh? No? Nothing? It's showing. No.
There we go. We're in business.
Oh, okay. Because
I can hear you.
Because the whole time it's shown that it can hear me. Okay.
Oh, baby.
This microphone? I don't know. I'm supposed to be using this microphone, but I don't know if it's working.
You could test it out. You can go like speaker settings, I think.
Do I sound okay?
You sound great.
Okay.
But what
That's good.
just look at do audio settings.
Yeah, I think this is it. It says USB audio device. I think that's what this is.
All
right.
Perfect.
Good.
Perfect, dude. Cheers. Happy Sunday morning.
I needed this. It was a night.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you up in Rockland right now?
No, Livermore.
Livermore, nice. Similar office looking vibe. Different door placement.
Yeah. No, dude, we don't have the Rockland place anymore.
Wow. Oh, that's right. Okay, so it's over as of now. I didn't know that.
Sorry. Okay, there we go. It's what? It's over?
Like you guys sold it.
Yeah. We sold that. We're just Livermore.
Nice, dude. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Congrats. Big congrats. Love it, dude.
How you been?
Good. Really good. Yeah. What were you doing last night? Working?
No, we were out at a winery event and kept the party going. This is my last drinking night before next Friday. So
I love it. I love it.
Time to
I
detox.
love it. Yeah, no, that'll be good. Yeah, the bachelor, we have the bachelor party. That's not a bachelor party. What are we calling it? Are we calling it a bachelor party?
Whatever.
We'll call it a bachelor party.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Damn, I had a question I wanted to talk about quickly and then I completely forgot it. Let me see if I have it. Oh, that's right. Okay. Something maybe you would know. My internet always goes out like 3 times a day, just for like 10 seconds. But then it has to kind of like, it automatically reboots and whatnot. And then it's just annoying at like, it'll be a minute or minute 30 seconds before I'm back on whatever meeting I'm on.
You have your own modem and router.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those. So,
wait, no, I don't. AT&T.
You're using theirs?
Yeah.
Then just tell them they need to come out and replace it. Because you're paying per month for those things and they're not working right. So you need to have someone come out because that's not anything you can do. That's something wrong with their configuration. What they're going to do is they're going to do a virtual reset. So like you'll call them, they'll say, oh, you need to power cycle the modem or whatever. So they'll have you power cycle it, then they're going to send a signal to it and it's going to reset. And they're going to say, do you still have the same issue? And you're going to be like, well, how am I supposed to tell right now? Because it doesn't happen like every second, right? So you're just I would just say, yeah, the issue's still happening, and have someone come out and actually replace the setup.
AT&T is fucking brilliant because I tried to do something kind of like that for like an hour. Like, how do I figure out to get like a person here or whatnot? Like,
Yeah,
it's impossible.
dude, that's
It's
I
crazy, dude. Like, fuck that. It
yeah.
makes me so mad.
I
They like sent some little thing like automatically to my thing, and
yep,
like, without any human input, they're just like,
yep.
it's perfect. Your signal looks great, like nothing wrong. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill you guys.
I think during my move, I've talked to at least 20 big companies. I've had to talk, yeah, I've changed banks. So I've talked to like Wells Fargo, talked to Chase, which is my new bank. I've talked to Xfinity for internet issues. I've talked to a ton of like, I feel like 20 companies, right? Ashley Furniture, the worst company in the world. Um, and every single company that's over $1 billion net worth, I guarantee you in the world, they have spent an insane amount of money to piss off the customer to make them just stop calling. Like it is so hard to get to talk to someone
It's
in
crazy.
these companies. And I think it's like you said, it's brilliant. Like, how do we make it so annoying and long to call some, to get to a human that the customer just says, okay, whatever, never mind. I'm like not going to deal with this.
Crazy, dude. Yeah,
Every company does it.
it's really frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. It
Yeah.
makes me think about how I can, because like I'm in customer service ish, like
Yeah.
definitely the person who people call if things go wrong. Not that I can necessarily do anything, but it is nice for people to be able to reach me.
Well, I think the first thing is a callback. Like, why does
Yeah.
every company not have a callback number, or a way
What's a
to put in,
callback number?
like when you call and it goes, oh, it's going to be an hour wait. If you put in your number, we'll give you a call back. You won't lose your place in
Oh
line.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Or go
Totally.
or have a spot online where you just put in your number and say, hey, I want to talk to someone about billing issues. And
Yep.
then you get a call an hour later. But I don't care that, like, I don't mind that people are understaffed, like, okay, you have too many calls right now. That's not necessarily your fault. It could just be a bad time.
It's a load of BS though. Dude, I was just
Yeah.
reading this article on like airlines, and it's about this same thing. Like trying to call an airline, like be prepared to be on wait for like 14,000
Oh
hours.
yeah, that was on the Wall Street Journal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
About like
yeah.
how
That was literally like
this
3 days
guy
ago.
took him like 3 days to get a flight home.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Crazy.
like people are doing laundry and stuff. Like they're like, that's how I get my chores done for the day.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just a pure, I don't know, what do you think? Capitalist move, probably. Just
Yeah,
to
I mean,
reduce costs.
there's definitely the reducing costs side of it, which I get, like, totally fine. You want to cut costs, especially after last year. Um, okay, that's fine. But then the second side of it is, like, how many times have you called one of these places and you've been on the phone for, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and something happens and you get dropped off? Has that ever happened to you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
I
most
literally,
of the time I'm like, I'm not waiting.
so here's what I love. Verizon. Okay. Verizon, for whatever reason, the territory that my company's in is technically, um, I don't know, CenturyLink. I don't know. There's some private company is supposed to manage those, but Verizon does. For there are cell carriers. So every time I call in and I put in my number, it has me wait, and then I get to something and it gives me an automated prompt. It happened yesterday, 30-minute wait. Get to an automated prompt finally after waiting, and it goes, um, your cell coverage is not covered by Verizon. It's covered by CenturyLink. Here's the number. And then it hangs up. But I can't call CenturyLink. I have to call Verizon. So I literally, every time I call Verizon, I have to basically lie to the system and say that I'm a new customer, and I get a new customer representative, and then
Just dope. That's how you always have to do these things. I feel like is look, I'm either
well,
leaving or I'm brand new,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
the
no, you're
only
right.
way you're gonna
Yeah, you're
talk to
right.
someone.
No, but it's funny because I have to go. Well, it's not funny. It's annoying. You have to go to the new customer guy. The new customer guy goes, "Oh, you're an existing client. I have to transfer you." And so then I get transferred. I wait on hold again. But
Oh
but
my
you're actually
God.
that's a great point. Like you never wait for a new business guy. Like
Mm-mm.
if you're a new customer, you never wait ever.
No, no, at our company, you see someone's about to sign up, boom, someone's giving them a call ASAP. Someone's having an issue, I might wait a few hours because
Oh,
I'm just like,
dude.
ugh, I gotta deal with this issue.
Oh, it's so sad. That's dude, you're totally right though. That's every case. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that is funny. That's not funny. It's messed up.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I've done I mean it's funny where I just how I don't know how pessimistic my views about like general business have gotten, and like how just like in general I haven't thought deeply enough about like I don't know, capitalism, socialism, all that stuff. I don't exactly uh have a view there yet in my young life, but like um I'm just so frustrated at how like leadership, it just seems bad generally, and like um I don't know, we just generally take advantage of people. I don't know. That could be a deep pessimistic thread that we go down. But like
Well,
it just feels frustrating. Like maybe I don't know. Um like my acute example is um at this startup, like I don't really know um what's like a normal amount of equity that people have. Like how much equity do other people have? How
other
much equity?
employees.
Yeah, how much equity should I have? Um, and like, what's a fair amount? Like, what makes sense? I don't know. I think that's a pretty nebulous zone. Because it's just hard to like I don't know. Like it's just you're kind of it's the same thing as like salary. You're just expected to negotiate it. Kind of generally, you kind of you semi know what's going on, but like money's so taboo, no one really talks about it. Um, and so yeah, you don't really know what's fair or what's not.
Yeah, I mean, what we're taught to get as much as you can for as little as you can, right? I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
like the American success.
Sure.
And that's I mean, it's problematic because we you and I have talked about it before with I think we've talked about it more in the gender gap, the gender pay gap is is what you were just touching on. We're taught to like just negotiate, like you have to negotiate salary. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've had conversations with Jessica, like she would never even know where to begin negotiating. She's never been interested in that, right? Like she
Sure.
hates that idea, period. And that's like it's not that she's a teacher, right? So she's never going to negotiate a salary, but
Yeah.
just the idea that that's how you succeed, right? Like like the best negotiator is going to succeed the most financially.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very um it's a weird thing. I guess it's not like weird. Like I guess it's important to have agency um with something as respect to like salary and your opinions of like, hey, this is the value I bring here, and like um
I agree
But it
with
is
that.
disappointing that there's not like we spend so much money on like, HR and whatnot. Like it should be like, look, we've done a lot of research. Here's where you actually should be. You're performing at an amazing level. We actually
Yeah.
think that here's a raise, like a lot more preemptive like raises and stuff to keep I don't know. I think I don't really know, but it seems like Netflix apparently does a lot of that stuff with their employees, but they're pretty ruthless with their employees that they like aren't working well. So like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Well, and that's a different dynamic. I mean, you're talking about a company that's 1,000 times the size of yours, right?
yeah.
And then that's where there's interesting dynamics of Netflix can get a new person in tomorrow that's identical to who you are, right? Like if you're an employee of Netflix, unless you are like the on the creative side, which I think creative is very interesting. How do you pay someone who's creative? Because ideas are unique, right? And like, how do you value like a producer for Netflix or a story
Mm-hmm.
writer? But on the flip side, a business, I've always thought like business is interesting because like there's ideas in business, but most people are just replaceable, right? Right. Like if you're on the finance team in Netflix, how do you go in and negotiate? Because you know that there's 1,000 candidates for your job if you needed to.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more difficult than a small company where it's like, look, I've already learned the process. You're not going out and getting hires every day. You don't have a lineup
Totally.
of people. And I know this business and I literally work on 10% of our customers or 15, right? Because it's a smaller company and you take on
Yeah.
more. But on the flip side, Netflix probably, well, I didn't know that they allow you to negotiate or they're pretty good about compensating based on stuff, but I've always thought it's kind of interesting that um, you can go into, if you're working at Netflix, there's at least 10 other people doing a job very similar to yours. And you could go negotiate a different salary, maybe. Let's just say
Mm-hmm.
you could. All 9 other guys who are doing almost identically what you're doing see no difference in pay. And I've always thought that's interesting because it's like that person was able to get a pay increase doing a very similar job as everyone else, but because of what he said or what he brought to the table, he's getting a bump. Whereas those other 9 guys are sticking around because they have their own qualities that are good for Netflix.
Mm.
So why aren't they getting a pay bump too? Like I've always thought that's very interesting about how we set up our business structures. And it's something that like that startup that I was working on in college, we actually like we're trying to make it like how do we make the most equal pay possible? But it's stupid because then people have no incentive to do better. So it's socialism at that point. And then you're like, oh, we like the next guy is doing the job. Like I'm not going to go do extra
Sure.
work because I'm
Sure.
getting the same pay. Like I don't know. It's hard.
I know, dude. It just inherently in business, you definitely have to buy into the like, I don't know. You have to buy into the framework of like every man, every person for themselves a
Yeah.
little bit. Um, and the overall thing of like, must work to be valuable. Otherwise you're not valuable. Um, yeah.
Well, look at your previous job. I mean, you felt. I'm sure you felt this way. I'm sure some of it you wanted to, but you felt that you had to be working until 2 a.m. to be valuable.
Yeah, definitely.
But you were put. I mean, the part of that is you just had to, but part of it is also like I want to show that I'm working my ass off too, right? Because that's how you
Yeah.
rise the ranks. And so, um, yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Compen- Compensation is interesting, and it's also where I think most companies end up ultimately failing. Like, look at Pfizer, right? Pfizer paid their CEO with pure stock options. Most people think that like paying with stock options is a great way to incentivize employees buy-in to a company. Well, what happened with Pfizer is, I mean, not technically he didn't ever got charged with it, but he cooked the books. He created whatever his name is. I can't even think of the guy's name, but Pfizer ended up completely not Pfizer. Why am I saying Pfizer? Valiant Pharmaceuticals. They basically had thousands of fake customers because their stock price, every customer they got went up, right? I mean, it's just pure sales. And so you have a guy who's literally dedicated more towards improving stock price than building a strong company. And their stock price went from $50 to $1,000 under his tenure, not 1,000, $400, and then down to $5 in a night, right? Like that's a hard thing about compensation is it make like textbook stock options are the best choice. You're buying in, it's cheap for the company. You're getting buy-in from the employees, but there's so many pitfalls. And then salary is a great choice because salary, people get money, people love money. Talk to anyone in our generation, very few people like stock options. They really like cash now so they can go travel, do all the stuff. But then you have no buy-in. Like, oh, I want to leave. Like tomorrow I want to leave. So I'm going to go change companies. I have no stock options. So like, what's the point? And so how do you find the middle point where you're giving enough buy-in to an employee where they don't just want to get the quick money now and they want to build a good company that they are bought into, but then also how do you pay them in a way that they're getting enough money now to live a life that they want, and be competitive with another company. Like it's just like compensation is such a convoluted question, and how do you incentivize workers? Like it's probably like the hardest thing to do as a company that's actually trying to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like the diff, like, I think you have to do all that to kind of understand, have a frank conversation with someone too about like what's important to them, and partially have it be driven a little bit more by like the person.
Yeah.
And then also, I think it comes to creating that solid environment and just regular. It's like literally treating, you have to, I think it's employees are basically customers of the company too, just in a little different way. Like, so it's just like regularly treating like, okay, how is this going? What's this going? Can I help handle this? Like, um, sussing out what's going wrong, understanding if there's things that they can improve, kind of understanding where the company is coming from, and blah blah. Like, yeah, and then also just creating that good, not fun necessarily environment, but you just like it's a work environment and like make people feel happy going to work. I don't know. That's like the saddest. That was so sad to even just explain. Of like, I feel like we're
Yeah.
just like little goats and oh man, dude, I don't know. All right, I don't want to, this comp stuff is one thing I'm trying to figure out more in like work is sometimes I've been, well, yeah, it's just like feeling uh not, well, I don't know. I've been feeling, I guess I bring all this, we like bring this stuff up about comp and stuff because sometimes I do feel like gypped and stuff and just like, like that's just, frustrating. But I think it's just too much. It's like, I don't really like feeling like that, or like feeling like I'm like angry all the time or like upset all the time when I'm not really that frustrated. I don't know. Do you feel frustrated at work often? Um, I don't know, over money stuff.
Frustrated, no. I wouldn't say like I think I think I mean you and I have had many conversations about compensation, how to ask for a raise and stuff. And I think for the most part, I feel confident that if I do feel underpaid, I can talk and get that raise. And I actually feel very good about where I'm at. My concern is always long term. and I think that's what you're going through too, is I don't have buy-in the way that I want. Like I would love to be a part owner, like you said, have shares of the company. Because I personally feel that there's a different mindset when you are getting a job done versus building a company. Like when you're a salaried employee, I'm just going in and day out. I want to provide a great service to clients. I want to build a good foundation for my job and all that stuff. Like I want to give a lot. But when you're an owner of a company, whether it be 1% or 100% of the company, you're talking like going in on a Saturday and trying to find out how to set up a better bookkeeping system, or you're trying to figure out how to like build a new CRM for client. Like you're going the extra mile that makes you think more long term of like, how do I have a better experience for customers? How am I more efficient as an entire company, not just for myself? And I think that like I wish I had that in me. Like I know I have it in me because I've done it at times, but like I think that what's missing of me spending like most waking hours thinking about the business is, at the end of the day, I'm getting paid the same amount whether I do this or not. And I wish it wasn't that. Like I wish my mind worked in a different way, and it does at times. Like I love problem solving. I love going in and doing other stuff that I don't have to do, but it's just different mindset. It's a psychological thing. Like I'm not an owner of the company. Now part of it is I am a little bit of like a share in the profit, right? So like, I guess there's a little bit of me that gives an extra mile because of that, or just because I want to, and I enjoy it. But I don't know that I feel, I don't feel that I'm getting gypped or anything. I do think that if I designed it my way, I would have ownership. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about.
Morning, Jessica. It's funny, dude. That just reminded me of like you having kids like 5-6 years down the road, just like
Yeah.
door opens and it's like a little kid being like, "Hey, dad." Oh man, dude. I think I wonder if that's part of it. Yeah, because I think it's, I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting when you're like trying to do work that's, improving the business or whatnot, but not directly related to like improving my salary, which just like isn't comp for. I don't know. Maybe I think part of where I did some writing on it yesterday and this week a little bit of like just more figuring out like what are things I want, and like working a little bit more for yourself of like, oh, like I'm building X skills or whatnot, or doing this too because I like want to do this, or I like improving this, and like seeing that inherent improvement. And then I think and then I think when I'm ready or feel like I'm actually doing, because I don't really feel like I'm being that gypped, but like when you really are ready for that conversation, then I think it's like, all right, time like let's negotiate some stuff. Like I've done XYZ, like this is that. Because I think I'm more trying to solve for like a general, almost day-to-day feeling of like, oh, this is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But again, does your frustration come out of the fact that you don't have ownership, or you don't feel like you're getting paid equal to like,
Yeah.
like you're crushing it, right? Like you're growing your business, all that stuff. And do you feel like your compensation just hasn't grown enough with that success you've had? Like your company's benefiting more than you are?
Well, inherently, that's for sure. I mean, that's classic capitalism. The company, I feel like, is always going to
Well, I mean, more
do
percentage
better.
wise, like, if you grow business by 10%, or is the profit of the company is going up 10%. Do you feel like your pay has not increased 10%?
Um, no, probably not. But I think that's also inherent in like how fast we're growing, and also
Yeah.
how different growth isn't related to like what I'm exactly doing, but I
Right.
am helping it a lot. But yeah, not definitely not all me for sure. Like we bought a whole business, like that's not going to like, did I help a lot in growing those customers? Yes, but like also, everyone helped out a lot too. Like it wasn't just me,
Right.
there. And then there's lots of improvements that are anyway. So that's a hard thing to say. But I mean, I have I have 10,000 shares. I have no idea how many shares are outstanding. We raise money all the time, right? Where like it gets quite diluted in terms of,
Yeah.
it's definitely just like what happens. Like so what's 10,000 shares?
When you
Like
say you have
nothing,
no idea how many are out there, did you know when you got the shares how many
No, I
there
didn't
were?
even know. I didn't even know. So I didn't do a great job of like negotiating
Was that
initially.
was that a key point of the negotiation, getting shares?
It was that was they gave me an initial offer with no shares, and I said no, like I want shares, and I said okay, here's 10,000. Um, and I was like okay, all right, fine, that'll work. And I was just stupid. Like I have no idea how
Well, it's funny because
many.
they could have said, "Here's 10 shares," and you might be like, "Oh, like there's a lot, there's not that many shares out there." And then 10,000, you start going, "Oh shit, maybe there's a million shares or
There's
10 million."
there's got to be so many shares out there for sure.
Yeah, and like you
Um,
said, like even if you did know back then, you have no idea the dilution
and
over
like, yeah,
time.
sure, if they give me 0.1% of the company or 0.001% of the company, I don't really even know what's normal.
How many employees are there?
There's now over, there's now probably 180 white collar.
Yeah,
Then we have like 20 warehouse, I think. But yeah, 80 to 100. I don't know. There's 100 people or more in our Slack. So
I mean, I would assume that employees account for no more than 20% of a company's shares
damn, that's so crazy, dude.
as a
Isn't that
whole.
crazy? Anyway, I don't. It gets me a little. Gets me bothered. Gets me hot and bothered. That like
Yeah, I mean,
you
but
realize.
but the thing is you have a job because of the sacrifice that the owners made. I mean,
Sure.
it wasn't like overnight they had this company and it was a piece of cake. Um, and that's where capitalism does its job, right? Is the risk you take is rewarded. Um, Now,
Yeah.
do I think that the risk in our society is equivalently or equally rewarded to that risk? Like is the reward equal to the risk? Not at all. Like, I, what Bezos makes um in 1 second, like what hit like the bottom 80% of his employees make in a year or something. I forget. Like during like a normal trading day of the stock going up 1%. I forget what the deal
Wow.
is, but the fact that you make as much money as you do, and all like he could have easily not been a part of Amazon after 10 years, but he's still reaping the rewards of all the people like you and anyone else working at a company. He's reaping those rewards even when he's not a part of it. And that's what's interesting about ownership is it's worth nothing, it's worth nothing, it's worth nothing. And then all of a sudden, even if you weren't a part of the growth, it's worth an insane amount of money because of what other people have done for you. But you just had to be the first one or had the best idea or had the best head start. Um, yeah, and that's super interesting. And like it's not fair at all. like like just our conversation right now, like the owner who maybe there's someone out there who has 50% of your company, they may have not even be involved in the company anymore. but they're
Totally.
going to see the majority of the growth after they leave because it goes through funding rounds and all that. And now you're people like you on the ground are making it work. And they just happen to be in a situation that they had a company that was doing whatever, and now you guys are, like you said, you're acquiring, you're getting funding, you're growing, and they're going to see all that growth as if they were in your shoes, but you're getting more salary and they're getting more of the ownership. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's wild. Yeah, it's definitely
It makes me wonder if there's an
definitely the
incentive
rich get
structure.
richer thing.
Yeah, like it does make me wonder that, like, is there an incentive structure that one day can be the default where you get shares by default working there, but you also like somehow sell shares automatically when you're not a part of the company? Um, yeah, I don't know. Like it would be very interesting to be part of, if you were a publicly traded company, or even if you weren't, there was some way to value the company every year. And every year that you are a part of the company, you get shares. And every year you're not, you lose it somehow. Like, not lose, but you get bought out automatically.
Yeah.
It'd be probably never happen, but just an interesting thought.
Yeah. Here, let me grab a second. I'm gonna fill up my coffee mug. I'll be right back.
I'm with you. All right.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. All right, dude. Let's change the energy a little bit.
Okay.
Well, actually, wait, maybe I don't. What was I don't even know what else. I just love talking about this shit with you. I was gonna say one of the things
That was probably loud.
what?
I said that was probably loud.
What was?
I dropped the mic.
Sorry, 2 listeners. There's I don't think we're gonna get a large amount of listens who are gonna make it past the that first half. I think we're gonna get pretty much nobody.
If you are still listening, go home.
Dude,
You have no life.
That's the point of this pod, dude. It's not for anyone else other than like I just want to talk to my people, dude, and it's perfect. I fucking love this. I was reading, okay, quickly, if you think of other things that are different energy, let me know. I was reading this. Do you read Matt Levine?
Matt Levine?
He's the guy, he writes these essays, kind of humorous, about finance. He works for Bloomberg. I'll send you a couple of his stuff. You've probably read them.
I was going to say,
fucking hilarious. Let me see if I can find the Matt Levine diamond pay, right? Jamie Dimon. That's how you spell his name, right?
Yeah. Chase?
Yeah. Okay. So he wrote this article called let me see. Yeah. Here's what it was. Okay. Jamie Dimon got a bonus is the name of this. So he's like, executive comp. What happened here? Blah, 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 blah. The billionaire chief executive officer of JP Morgan was awarded 1.5 million stock appreciation rights, which are like options. And this special award reflects the board's desire for Mr. Dimon to continue to lead the firm for a significant number of years. His options are worth around 50 million on paper. And they gave the award to motivate Dimon, who already has a 2.1 billion fortune, to keep doing his job well. And he won't be able to exercise the options for at least 5 years. Blah, blah, blah. So he's like, July is not a particularly traditional time for financial industry bonuses. Was he considering taking another job? Did he get an exciting offer to build a mid-tier regional bank into a global powerhouse and JP Morgan scrambled to match it? Or did he come to the board and say, hey, I've been doing this for a long time. I've had a good run. I've accomplished most of what I want to accomplish. I've provided well for my family with my $2.1 billion fortune. And now I'd like to retire and spend more time with my family. And the board was like, oh, no, we need you to stick around for another decade. Would increasing your net worth by 2.4% change your mind? And he was like, oh, man, I could really use 50 million more dollars. I'll do it. Dude, he's so funny. He's like, my model for executive compensation at the very high end, where Jamie Dimon and Elon Musk reside, is that these are people who have moved beyond being motivated by money, who cannot realistically buy any more lifestyle with more money, but it's still nice to feel loved. And the love language of a public company board is pretty much always going to be option grants. The model is the board got together and say, hey, Jamie has been doing a great job lately, but he looks a little tired. We should do something to cheer him up and let him know we're thinking of him. And one director suggested leaving a Post-it note on his monitor saying, just wanted to say we appreciate you. And another director was like, hey, that's a great idea, but let's also put a $50 million note under it. And everyone else was like, oh, well, of course, yes, 50 million. And he walked in to see the filing and was like, oh, that was nice of them, and smiled for a minute and got back to work and never thought of the $50 million again. It's just 50 million. Who cares? Dude,
this guy's awesome.
My God, he's so funny. Yeah. It's weird though. Imagine how an extra 50 million could add anything to Diamond's motivation. Presumably he already cares a lot about his reputation and about the bank he helped build. And to some extent, he's motivated by money. Presumably, his 9.4 million shares of JP Morgan stock already provide a lot of incentive to make the stock go up. On the other hand, it does seem like this award would be bad for the motivation of Diamond's senior lieutenants and potential successors. It has been a long-running joke in finance that Diamond's successors keep leaving before he does. The latest round of here are some new Jamie Dimon successors was just 2 months ago. It can't be all that reassuring for them that the board almost immediately decided to give Dimon 50 million more to stick around until they leave too.
That actually is funny. Like, yeah, we'd rather pay 50 million more than just go to the next guy.
Yeah, classic.
That we've already chosen as the successor.
Oh my God, just so funny, dude. He's just so fucking classic.
Isn't that crazy? $50 million, and that's like a drop in a bucket for him. But the things you could do as a company with that money, you could give everyone a probably like a 5, well, no, not 5%, but you could give like a bonus at the end of the year to all your employees.
Yep.
$50 million, you could make everyone.
Or you could have like the top third of the employees get more, or like whatever, or just like all the, think of the analysts, you know, like how
think of the analysts. Think of the analysts,
dude. I should get a t-shirt. Think of the analyst. That'd be a great t-shirt. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Pretty fucking nuts. I think our COO invested in that South Korean like Amazon competitor. I don't know if you've heard of that. I think they're called Q something. Anyway, they're valued at like $70 billion right now. They went public, and so he finally got liquidation, and I think he had around that amount. But that's the rumor mill. I mean, who knows? But he's like, look, I like won the lottery ticket. I'm out. And so he stopped working for us. He's like, I just don't want to work anymore. Like I have enough money. I'm plenty fine. Like I'm out. So, yeah, that was this summer. So, and that's probably with just 50. He probably had, 50 million or something, or 60 million, which is like I would retire. Everyone would. Who wouldn't retire if they have $60 million or $50 million?
Yeah.
I think maybe you'd keep going, but just to like give you something to do, or if that's exactly what you wanted to do. But that's plenty.
I wonder how many people have done this after, between the meme stock craze, like the people who actually got lucky, and the Bitcoin, Ethereum stuff, like or Dogecoin, like how many people just were able to say, I mean, half the people had their lives ruined, no doubt. And then half the people, not even half, mostly hedge funds won, but some people just freaking made $100 million and said, all right, like my life is made at 28 years old. Like,
Yeah, crazy. I mean, I don't
probably not
think
a lot of
I think
people.
that's very few people.
Yeah, probably not a lot.
I'm sure most of them didn't. And then also like just do the taxes on like liquidating that or whatnot. Or I don't know. And if you're actually holding on that, yeah. Like my cousin always gives me the thought experiment of like, if you're like a normal human being, you just like you can't even fathom really holding for that long. Like he was early. I mean, now maybe these years are a little different, but like there's a big difference at like buying Bitcoin at, $12,000 and maybe you own 5 Bitcoin because you're a 26-year-old person who's like very successful. So you literally you just put 100 grand into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You made 4 times your money now.
Yeah. Well, you're right. How do you fathom holding it from $1?
Like, yeah, he's
You
like
can't.
he can't because he did. He's like, look, I bought Bitcoin at $7. Like I was all about this shit, and then it went to 13 or like 15 or 18 or something like that. I think he bought it actually lower, way lower. He's like, dude, it's now like $13 because I remember he sold it like $13 or $14. Yeah. He's like, this is insane. Like,
right.
It felt to him like Dogecoin.
Well, and we've had conversations about it's one thing to know the value of something. Like you were just talking about that Q company. You can say based on this type of growth rate, this is how much the company would be worth, right? Like you can actually project out a company that's growing and say, okay, like it's not unfathomable for this company to one day be worth $10 billion or $100 billion because you can show the growth rate and say, okay, they're hitting these targets. So that makes sense. How do you justify something like Bitcoin? There's no intrinsic value. So it's $1, it's $5. You're like, oh my God, 5 times my money. And then it drops $1. And you just go, oh my God, I just lost 20% of my money. And then it goes up $10. And you go, I gotta take my money. I don't want that drop to happen again. And it drops. And you go, oh my God, why didn't I sell? And then it goes up a little bit. And you go, I need to sell now.
Yeah, because you just
like
have
literally
no
the only
fundamental idea.
The only mental way that I think that you could have stuck in from the beginning, either you just like dumb luck, no, not dumb luck. You just happen to be so bullish on Bitcoin that you're like, I'm never selling it. Like this is the future. It's going to be $1 million one day. That's number one. Or number two, you like forgot about it. You bought it, you put it away somewhere and you forgot. And then all of a sudden you like stumbled upon the 1,000 Bitcoin you bought as a joke and you're now a billionaire,
Crazy. Crazy,
not a billionaire. Anyways, it's crazy. But the business side, I actually like, to me, it is so much more impressive for someone to like the guy that you just talked about to have an insight on a company that's growing and just have the ability to get in on a company that you have belief in. And then you ride it and you have a good reason for buying it. And then it ends up achieving what you thought it would achieve and then getting out or holding it for your lifetime and, liquidating a little bit here and there. I actually have a lot more, not respect.
I just don't know if that's like, he's also, I mean, he's a great business person. So he's made lots of money too. And then, a fairly high risk tolerance. But like, one of his good friends was the COO of that company. So he had kind of the inside
right
into that company, believed in him. And I'm sure we're just looking at the winners. I'm sure he probably believed in a couple other companies too.
100%.
Put money into them.
But that's where I give some kudos to is like, and maybe he's 1 for 10. I don't know.
Exactly.
But I do think that it's not easy to go through losses Like our minds are geared psychologically to not lose money. Like right. What's that whole experiment? Like people like if you flip a coin and on the winning side you get $10 and on the losing side you lose 5, more than 50% of people don't take the bet. Even though your realized gain or your realized return or expected return, whatever that term is positive, most people don't take the bet. We just don't like losing money. So to be able to do it time and time again, and we're just assuming here someone like him lost at some point, but to do it or to go through the waves, right, of like it's doing good, it's doing bad, and to stick with it, I think it's impressive. Like it's not easy. I think it's crazy that people sell on a down market. And I give a lot of kudos to anyone who sticks with it and stays invested when the market's down, because psychologically, so many people get out of a down market, even though it's 50% cheaper than it was, when it was up high.
Crazy.
So anyways.
Oh man. Yeah, dude.
Can I switch topics?
Yeah, please talk to me.
I really want, I got the ballot next to me. I need a quick talk about without, we don't have to get too
I love it.
Political.
No, we have to. No, this is important.
But it's you and me. So
it's you and me, and we know that there's no one else out there. So it is you and me.
At this point, it's just you and me for sure. the 1 minute mark got rid of 100%. So my question is, so I personally, I don't love Newsom. I'm just like, I don't love him, but I usually don't love a lot of people in power. So I am going to say I tolerate Newsom. And I think he's pissing off 50% of the people, and whoever's in office is pissing off 50% of the people, like no matter what they're doing.
45, right? 45, 50%. Sure.
I'm just saying, no matter what you do,
sure. All the Republicans and then some other people.
Yeah, if you enforce masks, 50% of the people hate you because that's infringing on your rights. I'm not giving a strict number, like 45%, 40%, whatever. But you're going to piss off people if you do have masks, if you don't have masks, if you encourage vaccines, if you don't, if you make vaccines a requirement for sporting events, whatever. And then on the financial side, you're going to piss off people by pumping money into schools. And then if someone else came in, you're going to piss off people by not funding schools. And then but like all around the board right now, a lot of turmoil, regardless of the decisions you make. Now, I think he's been a little reckless with his decisions. Like as a fiscal guy, I don't like where he's put money. Like I think he could, like he gave out a lot of free money without restrictions, and I've always been against that. So would I replace him with someone? Yes. Like I've already decided my ideal guy is Faulkner, the Republican from San Diego. Hey, he's your old mayor. Yeah, Faulkner. And he's very like, the guy supports masks. He supports, like he has a great plan for homelessness and encouraging them to get mental health care, but also like housing. Like he has a really good plan that I watched like an hour thing that he did on it. He's like very progressive for being a Republican, but he's got that fiscal side to him where he's like, he's called out a lot of exuberance in the government that it's like, why did this money go here? Why did this money go here? Like it makes no sense during the pandemic. So I'm like, okay, this is the guy that like lines up with me a lot, like progressive in a lot of stuff, but fiscally conservative. He's a Republican technically, but as a mayor of San Diego, I think he was like not even one or the other. So I want him, but he's not leading in the polls. He's number 3 in the polls. I would rather have Newsom than whatever this Republican talk show guy is. Do you know who I'm talking about? Jerry.
Dude, I have done zero research into these.
Okay. So anyway, the leading elder, Larry Elder or something. So he's a Republican talk show host, but he's like the classic, like anti-mask, potentially anti-vaxxer, like, he's kind of the Trump comparison of an election. Now, do I think he would be bad for the California? I think he'd be worse than Newsom. I don't think he would destroy our state, but I don't think I would choose him. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Larry Elder.
Larry Elder.
Who the fuck is this dude?
Let me just say that this is actually kind of funny. Arnold Schwarzenegger in 2003 won the recall, and he was a celebrity. Now Elder's leading, and he's a celebrity. It's kind of interesting that celebrities.
Wait, say it again.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger would have.
Oh yeah.
He would have never won an election. Arnold Schwarzenegger would have never won an election, and neither would Elder. Neither of these guys would ever win a California election. But because it's a recall, it's so different. The dynamics. There's 84 people on the ballot.
Yeah, it's
so the
crazy.
celebrity always polls way higher. It's crazy. And the Democratic Party hasn't endorsed anyone because they're going all in on question one. Do you recall Newsom? No. So they've gone all in on question one, and they're not even giving guidance on question two.
Yeah.
So here's my question though. If Elder's leading the polls, then you've got Cox. Cox is he's a guy from Roseville. Well, he's not from Roseville, but I've looked into him every year because for some reason I vote on him. I don't know what he was, California Assembly or U.S. Representative or what.
Mm-hmm.
So I voted on him. I never liked him because he he's just done stuff that's like, come on, dude. He had like a grizzly at his rallies. Like he would bring grizzlies to his rallies that were like,
jeez,
like that's kind of like abusive. Like he literally has a traveling grizzly. Like, come on,
crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Anyway, I've never liked him. And then I probably should have more reasons, but I don't. I just don't like the guy. And then the leading Democrat is a freaking YouTuber. He's our age, and he talks about cryptocurrency like nonstop.
That's so wild. Okay, wait. So pause. I'm trying to understand the dynamics of this because I voted no, and I didn't really think too much of it.
Man,
do I want to remove him from? Yeah, no, I don't. Because like I don't. I think
do you vote question two though?
No.
Why not?
I didn't know you could.
Oh my god.
I didn't know you could.
This is how recalls are won. No, not because of the first question, but because they're gonna win if they get enough people to vote, they're gonna get the most conservative person put through. When I say they, because no one's voting on them.
Yeah.
On number
okay,
two.
wait. Okay, so pause. Okay, so basically, if 50% or more of people vote no,
it's a simple majority. So of those,
then there is no. Then Gavin Newsom stays.
Newsom's
if 50% of people vote yes, then whoever gets the most votes
on question two
becomes governor.
Correct.
God damn, that's so wild.
So that's why it's actually like genius move of there to being so many candidates. Because what happens?
I thought that was stupid. I was like, oh, fucking, like, how are they going to pick? Like, they're going to convince everyone to like pick one person.
You could win with 15% of the vote.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, this Faulkner guy, like he would probably in the pool, I think he would win the Republican vote majority. Maybe not because he's kind of moderate, but he would win. He would be a good candidate, right? But he's only polling fourth. He's behind a YouTuber. He's a 4-year-old YouTuber is leading the Democratic polls or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow. A YouTuber who literally knows nothing about government. Like I watch his YouTube videos. It's sad that he's leading. Like it's just sad.
That's so crazy.
That's so anyway. Crazy. So my question was basically like, do you vote yes? Like I would, in my priorities, I'd probably go Faulkner, then Newsom, and then I really haven't chosen anyone after that. So to me, if I would rather have Faulkner, do you say yes to leave office for Newsom? But then you're running the risk that you are helping a different candidate win because Faulkner's not leading the polls.
No, I understand
And so
completely.
I basically decided no
You
on
have
question
to.
one and Faulkner on question two. But like, it's just crazy. It's very interesting, and it makes me want to go back to ranked choice voting. Not back to, but I think ranked choice voting should be the way we do it, where you choose like your top three. So you get
Mhm.
like 3 votes to number, like if this was a normal election, you could give 3 votes to, or let's go back to Biden. So you could have given 3 votes to Biden, 2 votes to someone else, and 1 vote to Trump, if that's the order you wanted, or no votes to Trump, or 3 votes to Trump, 2 votes to whoever else, right? And that way you don't just have like these two wide people that are getting 50-50 vote. You might have someone in the middle who's getting 2 votes a person.
Mhm.
That anyway. All right, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to talk through that.
No, I like talking about stuff like this with you. I feel like you're engaged. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I'm pretty biased against pretty much most Republicans slash all Republicans. I don't. Man, I yeah. I just
Well, let me give you a question. Like, what would you have against someone like Mitt Romney or John McCain?
I mean, hindsight's nice. What would I have against them? I think they're great leaders. Um, I think that likely they would be. I think their policies would likely sway more conservative than I'd like.
But what I'm saying is, like, in what aspects of what they would stand for wouldn't vibe with you well?
I don't think they would push for different taxes that I'd be a fan of. I think that their environmental policy wouldn't be strong enough. I think that their their general worldview on who they're putting into their like cabinet and like the people that they trust would be um much more old world conservative like white men as opposed to I mean like you looked at like Obama's like cabinet and it was like the first time you saw like people of color and like women
Yeah.
like um I think just having I think in general a lot of those conservative men like just don't they don't even know or have the good connections of like um smart people across the board.
Yeah.
It's just going to be people who they kind of trust, and it's going to be like their golf buddies, is how I generally see it. And I don't think that that makes good inclusive policy. I think that there's just for our entire life as a country, we've just left out a lot of people just because there's not in the room or there's not really thought of or that like we don't really understand a point of view very well.
Yeah. I would encourage you to look more at moderate Republicans, because the term conservative, I don't think applies to all Republicans. I think like Colin Powell, Mitt Romney. I mean, hell, Colin Powell served with Mitt Romney like as his right hand man. That's a black guy.
I
I
just
mean,
I just finished watching the 9/11 doc and I'm not very pro Colin Powell at the moment.
oh
Um
really?
dude, I mean he basically the massive fiasco of like the Iraq war
Yeah.
is crazy. It's like
What doc is this? I want to watch it.
really good, dude. Netflix new doc just came out.
Oh, I gotta see this. Yeah,
I think there's a new doc too
I
on
read
Apple
like
TV.
3 Colin Powell books. I think like the guy. is like phenomenal. I mean, but the problem is same exact position as Benghazi for Hillary Clinton. Same
Sure,
same
yeah.
position in the
I need to
government.
see. I need to see a doc.
Oh, dude.
I gotta
Yeah.
look it up. I
I
got it, but
mean,
I'd
I
love to see
mean,
the doc.
I mean, you would say Hillary Clinton should never have been in the running for president if you understood
Interesting.
Benghazi and the
It's just
decisions she
so
was
it's
making.
not like it's not just like a you don't think it's like a Republican propaganda point of just like
I think that position in government is a lot of decisions that you have to make that are not going to be popular with people. But at the moment, you have to make decisions that you think are best, and when they come to light, it's bad. And I think Hillary and Colin Powell. Well, I got to see this documentary before I say anything blanket for Colin Powell, but I think Hillary got a lot of flack for things that she was trying to do for the U.S. just for the United States that came out pretty. It looks ugly, and it looks like she put a lot of Americans in harm's way.
yeah.
And I think Colin Powell similarly. He's had.
Yeah.
I think anyone that's Secretary of State is going to have really, really tough decisions that shed when the light is shed look really bad on the person, but they were doing what they thought was right. Now, going back to the conservative thing, I think you'd be surprised about Mitt Romney, guys like Mitt Romney, guys like Colin Powell. Well, I won't even use him because he was never like a senator or anything. John McCain. These are guys who are getting pushed out of elections, but they are the most conservative. I mean, I'm sorry, the most moderate of the conservatives. And you have people on the other side in the Democratic Party who are getting pushed out, who are the most moderate, because what's happening is rather than looking into, wow, Mitt Romney, he supported affordable care, health care before Obama did. He supported
But
mental
not on the
housing.
national stage.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
did. He
on the
basically said
national,
it wouldn't. He said it would work. Works in a place like Massachusetts, but
he
like it wouldn't
literally,
work for
he
everyone else.
literally, he literally wrote like 70% of Obamacare for Obama. He was asked to, I mean, he literally can like got in a room. He was the only Republican,
Yeah, they were modeling it after Massachusetts, but then he said
but
he's like, I don't. It wouldn't work for everybody.
okay, so that's his belief, but he still got into the room and wrote it for Obama. Like he wrote it for a national health. Like he went in and worked on it with Obama's staff basically and U.S. Senator and liberal senators. I mean, even if the guy disagrees that it'll work on a national stage, he supports it enough to provide his services for it, right? Like that's to me what you look for in moderates is you look for people who can reach across the aisle and say, I disagree, but yeah, I'd rather this than something else. And help instead of like freaking Nancy Pelosi, who just goes, we're going to freaking not vote on this bill until you guys concede on this other bill. It's like, how does that make sense? Like, you're just like completely not even like at that point, you're not even compromising on anything. You're just using a power stick, like whatever his face did for 8 years, McConnell. My thing is just understanding that, like in my opinion, and we've talked about this, I probably swing a little bit more liberal than conservative. But I would still 100 times over choose a Mitt Romney over a Joe Biden, or I would a million times over choose a moderate conservative over a very liberal person. And the reason I say that is because I think that the government is set up so that compromise is the leading negotiating tool. And right now there's no compromise. There hasn't been compromise since Obama really Bush was the last president, I think, that there was any sort of good compromise. Obama did a okay job, actually. So I'd say maybe Trump was the main one starting that, but like there was no negotiating under Clinton. Republicans hated Clinton. They wouldn't even like go into a room with him. I think Obama did really good of getting people into his office, but then Trump, I mean, there's no negotiation with Trump. There's no negotiation with Biden. And it's just really interesting. Like the US government, I don't think functions anywhere near the way it's supposed to right now. And you're just getting these swings. You're getting these massive swings of left then right in the government. The Department of Energy, 75% of their budget gets cut under Trump. And then all of a sudden we need them. So we're going to fund them twice as much as they used to get funded. And we're spending all this money on a department that is just completely in shambles. They shouldn't have that money right now, but until they build out back to where they were. And anyway, you just get these swings that I just don't like. A moderate wouldn't have those swings. It would be so much more efficient of a government. There'd be so much more compromise. There'd be so much more middle ground, and you wouldn't be pissing people off as much as I think a Biden and a Trump piss people off. Like if you go talk to people about either one of those, you're going to get very, very, very strong opinions about how good or bad they are. Instead of someone, okay, give me a second. I'm getting like 20 calls from my sister. I just gotta make sure she's okay.
Yeah. No, please.
Hey. I've got guests. My sister brought over friends.
Oh, nice. She's coming over.
She just walked over. She lives like 2 blocks from
that's
me.
Crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it, dude.
Anyway. But yeah, I just it's something I've had an issue with, but
yeah. Oh, I'm bad at talking politics, but I think that's a good general idea. I do believe in talking to people, understanding compromise. What's hard is like it feels like there's this like false equivalence though, have like with like different, quote unquote extremes of like there's, like people are like, oh yeah, like there's, the white mob or whatever that like, broke into the Capitol, and then there's like Black Lives Matter, like Antifa stuff, and like I don't know, would you say that those are kind of the two extremes people are like, at least right now, talking
so
about?
my thing is I don't even like
AOC.
to listen. I don't even like to listen to those two extreme sides. I don't even like to look at those two extreme sides. Like the people who are getting mad, like that's to me not the Republican Party that I would I would never even look to the extreme that supports that kind of behavior.
That is the Republican Party right now.
No, it's not. That's completely that's where I think it's very short-sighted to say that, because I wouldn't
How
say
did the Republican Party not like charge Trump or do anything about the whole like Capitol, or want any kind of review into it, or like do anything?
But that's the thing. There's like a ton of senators who have Republican senators who have criticized the old President Trump, who have investigated him. I mean, look at the number of people who completely pointed out how false the election misinformation campaign. I mean, a lot of Republicans got behind that, and it's not like that's where I think it's a disservice. Like that's like me sitting here saying that the Democratic Party is about like the most extremes of everyone should get a $50,000 guaranteed income. I mean, there are liberals who are pushing that forward, but that's not the Democratic Party. They're more about the income tax credit. which makes a lot more sense. And it's $10,000, not 50,000, and all that stuff. That's like pointing out the most extremes of the Democratic Party too, that we shouldn't have police anywhere in the country, that we shouldn't have military money going to the military. Like looking at the extremes of both parties, you're going to have a very bad view of what actually makes up the U.S. government. That's not what makes up the U.S. government. That's the people on the fringes of both sides. And I disagree. I think the Republican Party is a mess right now, and I don't support them. I mean, but I would support Faulkner, like who's a Republican, a very, very moderate Republican who stands against Trump and who stands against the anti-vaxxers and who stands against white supremacy. Like that's who I would stand for, you know, not anyone who's on the conservative wing of the Republican Party that makes up the anti-vaxxers or the white supremacists or any sort of like classic Trump motto. Like that was a terrible thing that happened to the Republican Party. But I also think a terrible thing that happened to the Democratic Party is pushing for literally zero police. I agree with changing the funding of police and how they're organized, but you have a lot of people pushing for zero police at all. And that's, and I know you and I have had some conversations about that, but I mean, that's anarchy, that pushes towards anarchy at that point. I mean, that's like, if you looked at the extreme, I could sit here and have a talk about how I don't want to support a party that's pushing that. Sure. But I do support the Democratic Party. I support 95% of it. But dude, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah. I gotta go. I gotta go. Front, but we should. No, I want to talk more about this. This should be an hour conversation.
I love it, dude. We'll have more, dude. We'll pop on and no one will listen, but we'll talk our shit, dude. This was phenomenal. Enjoy your Sunday. What are you guys up to?
Thanks, dude. We are going to go check out some stuff by our venue, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice, dude.
How about you?
Dude. I think just chilling. It's a gorgeous day around here at the beach and stuff.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I'm boogie boarding. We got to talk about that. It's been great, dude. I'm loving it so much that next time, yeah, dude, like you come visit. I think I got to get you like some fins and a boogie board. And dude, fins are game changing.
I used to be a good boogie boarder, dude.
Dude, they're game changing. The fins are game changing. I feel like a surfer. Dude.
I believe
it's
that.
So fun.
All right, man. Love you, dude.
All right, dude. Love you, dude.
Have
Say
a good
hi, Jessica, for me.
All right. You too, man.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Bye.